I'm Kathy Plowden, and my family joined St. John's over 35 years ago, and it's been a wonderful church home. And I have really loved watching all the other videos for this project as well. It's been delightful to hear the stories. And so my passage and my story is mercy. And it is the piece of the prodigal son where the older son is ticked. He is hearing the party and asking a servant what's going on. And when he finds out it's a party for his younger, wayward brother, he doesn't even want to go. And I think for some of us, we hear the prodigal son story and we can relate to the son that left. We've all, I think, had moments in our life where we didn't do what we were supposed to do. I mean, we're human. It's such a very human story for somebody to just misbehave, do what they're not supposed to do. And often, like the prodigal son, we'll say, sorry. And he does. He comes back home and he says he's sorry. The older brother, though, is the one I think I relate to more. That I grew up in the church and I have had a life where faith was a good part of who I am and what I do. And I generally do what I'm supposed to do. I'm an oldest child. You can depend on me. I'm responsible. I like it when other people do what they're supposed to do. And as a younger person, I think I was probably a little less tolerant. And then Jesus came into my heart in a new way. I think he was always there. I don't ever remember not believing, but there was a time when it became mine, when I owned it. And God worked on my heart and softened it a little bit to be more tolerant of people who aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And that probably became most true for me when I became a teacher. And I really got to see how messy some lives are and became better at understanding when people don't do what they're supposed to do and becoming more tolerant and understanding that abundant love of God. I read a book probably about going on 10 years ago now by Rob Bell called Love Wins. And his idea is that, yes, this love of God is abundant. And that part of us as Christians want to believe that that table that we're invited to has a special place for us and that we're special because we get invited to that table. And sometimes we forget that everyone is invited to the table. Everyone is invited to the table. It's not an exclusive club. And although we're special, we're not more special than anyone else. I think the older son wanted to believe he was more special. But God doesn't see us that way. The father and the prodigal son loved both his sons. The son that stayed had everything he could ever want. The son that left and came back was welcomed with open arms, and God sees both. And so that's the mercy. That's the mercy. Love from us for others, love of God for us, all of us. I hope in this Lenten season you find your way to God's love if you don't feel it, or that you just embrace it more if you do. God's peace.